Hey, this is Michael Bohm with Youth Apologetics Training. Today we're going to keep going on this series about Wicca and witchcraft. And so let's just jump right in. I think you guys have already gotten a feel for this in the previous days, but Wicca, they have a very wide range of beliefs. Okay, so just because somebody says they're into Wicca, it has to be narrowed down quite a bit because there's so many different streams of thought, different theologies that you find within this giant circle, no pun intended, of Wicca. Okay, and so today I want to kind of give you a little bit of a background of the different schools of thought, and this is by far not exhaustive. There's so many of them, but this would be the most prevalent ones that you'll find out there. There's 6 of them that are the most prevalent, but really honestly, guys, there's just so many of them out there. But just to kind of give you a feel of this, and again, why am I telling you guys this? I'm not telling you guys this junk to get you involved in this, but I want you to be informed. And some of you out there may choose not to listen to this series, and you know what? Cool. I mean, if this is not for you, don't listen to it. Some of you out there are interested in being informed, and you want to know what others believe, possibly because you see signs in your child, and you want to know what in the world they're up to. Okay, and so you might need some insight. Maybe you have a friend who is into this, and you want to know how you can reach them. Well, first of all, if you have a friend that you suspect is into this, just ask them questions. Buy them lunch. Talk to them. But second of all, yeah, people like to know what's going on. And as somebody interested in apologetics, it's good to know what other people believe so that you can reach them. But I want to add to that, it's more important to know what you believe. So if you're not grounded in your faith, this series is not for you. Seriously. Go back, listen to things like the Essential Doctrines of Christianity series of mine, and get on Sermon Audio and other places and get yourself grounded in your faith first. All this other stuff doesn't matter until you really know your faith. Once you really know your faith, hey, take all the rabbit trails you want and learn what other people believe so that you have more to talk about with them and more understanding of where they're coming from and thus how you can reach them, okay? So anyway, chances are all you guys that are listening to this podcast already know that, but I just want to say that anyway. So what are some schools of thought here in Wicca that people follow? I am pulling this primarily, today's information is coming out of a book called The Kingdom of the Occult. It's by primarily Walter Martin, who, in my eyes, he's already passed on to the Lord. He is the father of the cult understanding movement of Christian apologetics. He's the guy that pioneered, or seemingly pioneered, apologetics in all these different areas of the cults. Well, he also has this book, The Kingdom of the Occult, and his daughter, Jill Martin, oh boy, forgive me if I mispronounce her name, but Jill Martin Risch, maybe, R-I-S-C-H-E, and another guy, Kurt Van Gordon. This book, it covers so many areas of the occult from a Christian perspective, has a fantastic, detailed description of these different areas of the occult, and then gives you ways that you can reach people and how you can use apologetics to try and hopefully turn them around, as well as some great inspirational, get your back up Christian kind of encouragements for those who are facing a witch in some kind of a way, because it happens. Witches will come after you as a Christian, and sometimes you got to get prayed up and you got to deal with it. Sometimes it's prayer and fasting. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. Hey, all right, so what do we got here? There's about 6 of them, and really there's a bazillion, but these are the 6 most prevalent that you'll come in contact with. There is the traditionalist, and these traditionalist Wiccans their teachings are based mainly on folklore, literature, or history of the area in which they live. They're also really interested in ancestry. And so that's pretty much the traditionalist view. There's the Gardnerian, and they call it Gardnerian, not because they're into gardening, but they're into a guy named Gerald Gardner. And he definitely has some influence in the world of Wicca. And so I want to kind of focus on him really quick. Gerald Gardner, who is this guy? He was a student of a guy named Aleister Crowley. And as I go through different forms of witchcraft in the future, Aleister Crowley is going to come up a lot. He was one bad dude. He's referred to, or he referred to himself as the Beast and 666. Okay, so I think you already have an idea. This is a bad guy. Aleister Crowley is probably one of the most influential black magic witchcraft characters in modern history. And he was involved in some pretty bad stuff, including black magic, most likely child sacrifice. He alluded to that many times in his writings. I have read some of his books back in my past, so I have a little bit more of an intimate knowledge of this weirdo than most people. And yeah, he's a weirdo. I just employed some ad hominem attacks. This guy's nuts. But anyway, yeah, most of the things I read from him, I would never want to even repeat. He's a nut, okay? But anyway, Gerald Gardner was a student of Aleister Crowley. In fact, I believe that Gardner and Aleister Crowley were actually personally acquainted. But anyway, he was the author of many books, but most notable is a book of spells called the Book of Shadows. And the Book of Shadows comes up many times in this Wicca religion. And so anyway, that's Gardner. He wrote a bunch of books. People like his books. Many people study his books who are part of Wicca, and he has his own movement that follows him called Gardnerians. All right, let's look at another group. We have the Alexandrians, and it's not because they are from Alexandria, Egypt, or something like that, but they follow a guy named Alex Sanders, who apparently is fairly similar to Gerald Gardner's form of witchcraft, but there's more of an emphasis on ceremonial magic. And moving on here, there is the Dianic form of Wicca, which is based mainly on Margaret Murray's teachings. Well, who is Margaret Murray? Let's look at her real quick. She, too, was a pretty weird lady. In fact, many witches don't like her. She's very controversial. She was basically a pagan anthropologist and Egyptologist. Went through all the records of She went through many records of medieval times and published basically her findings in a book called The Witch Cult in Western Europe, and also another one, God of the Witches. And she tells stories about how these witches were not recanting their beliefs in witchcraft before being burnt. But I think the most controversial of her stuff is that she plugged the ears of the young ones around you. Now, she said that human sacrifice, cannibalism, and sexual orgies existed within fertility witchcraft cults down through antiquity. That kind of got people's goat a little bit, no pun intended. But anyway, that is who Margaret Murray is. And so this Dianic Wicca, they followed after her teachings. They had a strong emphasis on the goddess and a lot of feminist ideology. They were also into ecology and basically saving the Mother Earth, preserving nature. Okay. Let's move on. The New Reformed Orthodox Order of the Golden Dawn, or Enruged. This is a group that founded by somebody named Aiden Kelly. I believe that's a man, Aiden. Anyway, I get the impression that they're mostly active here in the United States, and there's really not much said about this group except for basically it was created entirely out of research, poetry, inspiration, and the gathering of a small group of good friends. So interesting. They have a website. I honestly don't want to give it because I just, yeah, people, learn what I'm telling you here just to get I want you guys to get a feel of what these people believe, but I'd rather you not go out and start looking for it. Let's move on. The Egyptian or Neteru, the gods of the Black Land. And these guys are interested in worshiping all the gods and goddesses of ancient Egypt. So, strange. They're all about Egyptian. Okay, so they're into the calendar, the festivals, the holidays, hieroglyphs, philosophies, and even, of course, the ancient Egyptian magic. So that's interesting. I wouldn't doubt it if some of the people that were involved with the architecture of our capital might have been involved with this group, because there's a lot of Egyptian architecture that's built into Washington, D.C. But that's a whole other subject, and I don't like to wear my tinfoil hat in public. So we'll skip that one for now. But anyway, as you can see, and as I continue to remind you guys, this Wicca group is very wide and varied. There's lots of subgroups, and there's a lot of, today I've mentioned the 6 most common groups of them in the world. Well, there's also lots of them that are just very eclectic, and that's where I came from. In fact, I was so eclectic that just the banner of Wicca was just one banner amongst many that I looked into and played around with. So it's kind of a disaster. Witchcraft in general, it's kind of everything goes, and everybody kind of believes different stuff. They kind of come together and they agree on the fact that they're tapping into supernatural powers, and beyond that, it's a disaster. So anyway, I think that's probably a decent spot for me to finish for today. And yeah, I know this is so confusing. They have so many varied beliefs. Tomorrow we're going to zero this thing in a little bit more, and you'll see a little bit more about them. But anyway, come out to the website, youthapologeticstraining.com. I have content on the website that is exclusive to the website. I'm posting I'm posting podcasts on there that you can't get from sermon audio, not because I'm trying to be mean or something, but just simply because I don't have the dough to be putting all the podcasts that I want to up on sermon audio just yet. So I'm just logging them up on the website. And so anyway, give you a reason to come up there and leave a comment while you're at it so that I can talk to you guys. And with that, I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow.